Okay, WWE Clash at the Castle just concluded about maybe 20 or so minutes ago, give or take what happened at the end. But all right show, a pretty good show actually. But and I guess the changes are starting to take hold because kickoff show matches are now back out of nowhere. They didn't announce it until just when the kickoff show was beginning. But yes, we had a six-man tag between Madcap Moss and the Street Profits and Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy. And, decent enough kickoff show match, pretty bog standard, good six-man fair. Early on, there was a couple of nice spots where Dawkins did a fake out on an arm drag, which caught Gable off guard, but then Gable came back and faked out forward with a leapfrog maneuver that allowed him to put on an ankle lock. Moss eventually got a hot tag and he started hitting several maneuvers. Dawkins hit a kind of butterfly neck breaker, and the big high spot of the match was Gable attempting to German suplex forward off of the ring apron, but Dawkins catching Gable and putting him up on his shoulders, which enabled Ford to hit a basically suicide blockbuster to the outside of the ring onto everyone. And then Ford followed that up with a frog splash onto Gable for the 3 count of victory. Like I said, overall pretty decent match. I guess this way enabled Austin Theory to be on the show so people could think there was a cash-in attempt should it happen. But like I said, overall not too bad. My only real problem is, why couldn't they announce this earlier? Because, it's like I had finally stopped watching the kickoff show, and then I just hear this kickoff. Yeah, I just got the information about 5 minutes after the kickoff show started. Oh, wait, there's a match. So I had to switch over and kick that up. Sorry. Anyway, moving on to the show proper, we opened up with our 6-woman tag team match: Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. And according to the Titantron branding, that latter group is called Damage Control. Anyway, Bayley, right off the bat, Bayley and Belair were starting the match. And Bayley went after Asuka, who was standing on the ring apron, so in turn Belair went after, I believe it was Io Sky. Watch as I try to say Io something and start saying Io Shirai and have to switch halfway through. Anyway, there was a triple suplex by the Babyface team on the heels. Bliss uses the ropes to stomp Io Sky into the mat. Dakota Kai hit a running dropkick on Bliss sending her into the barricade. They allowed the heels start to get the advantage. Bayley broke up a tag by pulling Belair off the apron and tying her hair up in the ring ropes. Belair came back, hit Bayley with a spine buster. They had a kind of a Tower of Doom. They used Alexa Bliss to hit kind of a Tower of Doom spot, again with Belair's hair in the ropes. Bliss and Asuka hit a Tower of Doom spot on, I believe it was Io Sky. But eventually, Bayley again tangled Belair's hair in the ropes, and that allowed Damage Control to all hit their finishers on Belair for the 3 count and the victory. Good heel victory, I think, in this case. Helps build up Damage Control as a legitimate threat. So, and of course, Bayley pinning the champion kind of makes her the de facto #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. Like I said, a bit of a slow start at first. Again, I don't know if this is meant to be the idea of we're starting slow and building up to the passionate parts, but yeah, there was kind of a lot of, we're going to start to do something, we're going to play to the crowd, we're going to start to do something and play to the crowd type atmosphere with that, and it did kind of wear itself out a little bit after a while, especially with all of these matches doing it. Our next match is the Intercontinental Championship match between Walter and Sheamus. I am not calling him Gunther. Anyway, before that, as the intros were coming out, they introduced Giovanni Vinci, or Vinci, and the former Fabian Eichner, which means Imperium has been reformed now on the main roster. Anyway, as this happened, Sheamus with Holland and Pete Dunne, came out of the ring. So Imperium comes down to the ring. All of the teammates begin brawling with each other and brawling up the ramp out of the arena, or at least out of the match area, as Walter and Sheamus just stare at each other. Early on, this was a big strike fest, so you had Sheamus trying to go for the clubbing blows or the 10 days in the Bowery. Walter just kept hitting chops and big boots. He locked on a Boston Crab at one point. Sheamus came back through Walter in the ring steps. He slammed Walter's head off the announce table. Eventually he hit the 10 days in the Bowery. Walter came back, attempted a pile driver. Sheamus covered that into a white noise. Walter counted a bro kick into a power bomb. He began targeting Sheamus' back even more repeatedly. So eventually Sheamus started to get the upper hand, went for the bro kick, but his back seized on him. And that enabled Walter to hit a power bomb and a lariat for the 3 count, and thus he was able to retain the championship. So, Sheamus does not win in his hometown of Wales. So, but overall this was a really good match, good physical Hoss match with a lot of, like I said, a lot of fighting, a lot of blows. Definitely came across with a lot of action. Totally good story. I did like that there wasn't a whole lot of interference outside of the little early bits, so again, it allowed them to tell a good, solid match out of it. And that leads us into our next match, which is the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. Right off the bat, Baszler went for the Kira Funa clutch, but Morgan rolled out of that and tried to get an O'Connell roll. Morgan hit a head scissors, followed up with a drop kick. Baszler performed got Morgan in a hammerlock and threw her injured arm into the barricade, which enabled her to get start to do a lot of arm wringers and that aspect of it. Baszler hit a running kick into Morgan's arm. Morgan eventually, while Baszler was trying to manipulate the arm for the elbow stomp, Morgan started digging her nails into Baszler's shoulder to get her to break the hold. Morgan hit a springboard recoil on Baszler. Morgan countered an elbow stomp, an elbow stomp into an armbar again. Baszler countered a power bomb into the rear naked choke and then into an armbar. But Morgan managed to roll out of that. She hit the recoil and then the Oblivion for the 3 count and the victory. Again, a nice solid match, although again this a good overall match. The only drawback I would say is, again, it seems like they're just keeping the seat warm for Ronda Rousey's return now that she's back from suspension. So, don't know exactly where they're going to go with that. Or, again, maybe they'll save Liv Morgan for Charlotte so, Rousey can do whatever. Because I don't think Rousey needs to be in the championship picture anymore. Again, Rousey clearly doesn't want to be in WWE anymore, and I know I'm not talking about Liv Morgan or Shayna Baszler, but so again, are people who probably should be talking about this type of match, but again, it just kind of feels like, no, we're still building around Ronda Rousey at this point. So, yeah, this is one of those, I don't know if or when Triple H's changes are going to take hold there, but again, would like to see some more building up of other contenders. And I'm also not entirely sure if Liv Morgan is supposed to be a babyface or a heel because, early on she, when the controversial Phantom tap out happened, she was acting kind of heelish, but now she's acting kind of babyface again. So, again, I'm not entirely sure as to where that character is going. Okay, our next match is Edge and Rey Mysterio against the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Very early on, they may have tipped something off, as they said, Dominic needs to wait until it's his time to actually, his day will come. That's what it was. It needs to understand his day will come. Also, a nice, funny touch to start things off. Edge came out in a Rey Mysterio type mask during his entrance. Early on, Rey managed to confuse Balor and to hit him with a tilt-a-whirl head scissors. Edge and Rey hit a powerbomb moonsault type maneuver onto Priest and Balor to the outside of the ring. Priest came in and hit Rey with kind of a scoop slam into the Falcon Arrow. Not quite a Michinoku driver in the strictest sense of the term, but it was definitely like you got him way up, kind of spun into the Falcon Arrow pin. Priest began goading Edge. He spit at him. Ray came back. He had a drop to hold, sending Balor into the turnbuckle. And then he crotched Priest on the barricade. That enabled Edge to get the hot tag, send Balor into the second rope, which allowed Edge to hit his own 619, or whatever the area code for Asheville, North Carolina is. Anyway, Balor came back in a sling blade. He started to go up for the coup de grace, but Dominic distracted Balor long enough for Ray to get up and hit a top rope Hurricane Rana. That enabled Ray to go for a 619. Dominic, again, sort of interfered to allow Rhea Ripley got into it with Rhea Ripley. She picked him up as if she was going to scoop slam him. Ray went and hit a dive to the outside. Balor started to pick things back up again. Then Edge hit a spear that sent Balor into the ropes. That enabled Ray to hit the 619 and get the 3 count of the victory. And then, as they were celebrating in the ring, Dominic gets Edge is being warm and fine with Dominic, saying, "Hey, good job, man. Thanks for helping out." And Dominic low blows Edge. And then clotheslines Ray. So yes, Dominic has finally embraced his lineage as a member of the Guerrero family and turned on his partners. And as this is happening, Judgment Day is laughing, even though they lost. Also, it doesn't look like Dominic joined Judgment Day because he just walked off. He ripped his Mysterio shirt off and walked away. And that was it. So we finally get the Dominic heel turn, which has been building, I'd say, for about the last year or so. I think just about where when they lost the tag team, like when they won the tag team championships, you can kind of see it's like, okay, they're gonna break these two up at some point because they need to. Yeah, because really, Dominic, he got on the main roster too quickly. He got his match against Seth Rollins. I thought that was fine, but I thought after that he needed to go back down to NXT and hone a character. He didn't have one. He was just Ray's kid, and maybe now I think what they need to do with him is lean in. Yeah, that Eddie Guerrero thing was corny. I admit. Yes, that was one of the cornier storylines, but it's also one of the memorably corny storylines. Have him lean into it. Have him say, "Look, I'm just embracing my Guerrero lineage. Rey Mysterio is not my father. Maybe he should call himself Dominic Guerrero at this point. Have him do that. Chavo's maybe available. Bring him on to be a manager. I think that would lean into that idea. That would definitely get him way over more as a heel than it would as just not or joining Judgment Day would. I think that would just play into it a lot better. Anyway, our next match is Seth Rollins versus Matthew Riddle. Again, I should point out, we're starting to get names back into things. Austin Theory is back. Matt Riddle is back. I believe Damian Priest is also back. That being said, it's still Gunther and Butch. So, I guess you can't have everything at once. Rollins came to the ring just like Elton John. Riddle attacked Rollins and got a warning from the ref. He came back in a couple rolling gut wrench suplexes. Rollins did a super kick and a Falcon Arrow. He hit a barricade bomb. Rollins tied Riddle up in the turnbuckle and a double stomp off the top rope. Riddle then came back and countered a superplex into a fisherman buster. Riddle hit the floating bro to the outside of the ring. Rollins eventually came back, hit the Bro Derek at one point. Rollins hit a Hangman DDT, the Randy Orton Hangman DDT. Riddle came back, he countered a stomp and a rear naked choke. And unfortunately what did Riddle in was his emotions got the better of him. He grabbed the chair, tried to throw it in the ring. That enabled Rollins to hit the stomp and then hit another stomp from the second rope to cover Riddle for the 3 count. overall, this was a great match. Good story. Again, good storytelling. Rollins has obviously more than proved his worth at this point, but I'm confused a little bit as to the build-up with this. Like, they're trying to use that split-screen interview thing as this main motivator for, Riddle losing his emotions, but what they don't mention that Riddle's the one who instigated it. Like, okay, so the idea is they're doing the split screen because neither of these guys can be trusted in the same room, so they're jawing at each other through, Zoom call, basically. And, their last little bit while they're recording it is Riddle making a reference to the idea that Becky Lynch wears the pants in the Lopez family, and that upsets Rollins. But then right after they're done recording, they say, we're clear. Then it's Rollins that brings up, what's happened with Riddle. You can look it up online. And that sets Riddle off. And that it's like Rollins was uncalled for. He didn't do it on television. He waited until the recording was supposedly over. It was supposed to be, so that part wasn't supposed to be on television. And 2, Riddle started it. He brought Rollins' wife into it. So, Rollins returning the favor is fair game, in my opinion. So, that's just the part that kind of confused me. But overall, again, I think, and again, I guess this helps build to a match at Extreme Rules, but I think people right now are maybe wanting Rollins to be pushed back more into the world title picture whenever that may be, because we'll get to that right now. That's our main event, the Undisputed Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. McIntyre looked very strong early on. When Reigns would throw an offense, McIntyre would kind of shrug it off. But then, while they're brawling to the outside, Karrion Kross throws a bottle out of the crowd, and that distracts McIntyre, allowing Reigns to gain the upper hand. Reigns hits a jumping clothesline. He followed it with a big boot. Both men then tried to hit suplexes on it. We're basically reversing suplexes. Finally, Reigns just kind of snapped, punched McIntyre, grabbed the mic, and demanded to be acknowledged. And McIntyre hit Reigns with a Glasgow kiss while he was holding the microphone, so you could hear the boom. Reigns hit a Uranagi, which Cole referred to as a rock bottom. Yeah, real subtle there, guys. McIntyre countered a Superman punch into the Future Shock DDT. Reigns countered a Claymore with a Superman punch. He locked on the guillotine, but McIntyre threw Reigns into the post. He speared Reigns through the barricade. He set Reigns up for the Claymore, but Claymored Reigns into the ref. At this point, Austin Theory's music hits. He runs down with another ref, intending to cash in his briefcase. However, Tyson Fury, who was in the crowd, decks Theory before the cash-in can properly take place. As this happens, Reigns has grabbed a chair, trying to hit McIntyre, gets hit with the Claymore. McIntyre covers, but it takes too long for the ref to get back in the ring. The second ref now to get in the ring only gets a 2 count out of it. Yeah, it's college football season. My phone's going to go off sometimes. Anyway, McIntyre hits a spear, gets another Claymore, but then someone pulls the ref out of the ring, and it's Solo Sikoa, the Usos' younger brother. So the Bloodline now has another new member. He's pulled the ref out of the ring. That allows Reigns to hit the spear for the 3 count and the victory. Afterwards, Reigns kind of acknowledged Solo Sikoa, who acknowledged Reigns as the head of the table. They started to leave. Tyson Fury got in the ring and shook Reigns' hand. So, okay, you're thinking, okay, Theory's going to deck Drew McIntyre at some point, but no, instead, Fury, sorry, Tyson Fury, Austin Theory, who I guess is still unconscious at ringside. Fury gets on the mic, and he and Drew sing Miss American Pie, and I think they sang Sweet Caroline or something else, and that's how the show ended. That last bit really didn't need to be on the show. Like, that's fun to do with the crowd. That's not something you need to televise. Again, didn't build to anything. Overall, it was a good match. Good, fun, hard-hitting match. Again, Drew looked like a threat. Looked like he could have easily taken Reigns down, but again, outside interference gets in the way. Maybe could have utilized Karrion Kross more. Like, you see, again, where was that? Like, if you're going to do that, have Cross attack McIntyre after the match instead of this stupid thing with Tyson Fury. Like, you're trying to send people home happy, then have McIntyre win. Or, heck, I even have Austin Theory win because the crowd was going wild when that happened. So, again, anything like that would have been fine, but this just, yeah, kind of dragged the match down, in my opinion. And again, it's like, I think everyone has agreed, like, Reigns doesn't need to be champion anymore. If, again, you're going to build to Reigns versus Rock, he doesn't need to be champion. You know, that doesn't need to be for the championship, because then you're taking the belt off a part-timer and putting it on another part-timer. So, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So, again, hopefully they do something to clarify this and fix this. Just do it soon, please. Stop spinning your wheels on that. And, like I said, overall, you know, the show was really good. It was really enjoyable. None of the matches were bad. You know, again, problems I had with the last match, there were more superficial stuff than it is anything else. Like I said, again, problems I have with the Riddle Rollins match, again, superficial stuff, really. Just kind of confusing as to where exactly the story is supposed to be going there. But, yeah, still, overall, you know, again, really enjoyable. All the matches were good. No real clunkers, you know, except for maybe the kickoff show match, but, you know, it is the kickoff show match, so, you know, your expectations should not be too terribly high with that. So, yeah, again, overall, Clash of the Castle gets an A. I think this was a really well-executed pay-per-view or premium live event. So, yeah, everything's pretty good here. Like, definitely keeping up some interest. It's nice to see Solo Sikoa on the main roster. It's nice to see Giovanni Vinci on the roster. It's, you know, Imperium's reunited, so again, we have more tag teams to maybe generate some interest again, finally. They're finally doing stuff with the Viking Raiders as, you know, the Unstoppable Warriors they're supposed to be. Again, hopefully this helps out a lot, and again, generates interest and we can get good wrestling on WWE again. Okay, so next video is, it's probably going to be, we're going to get at least 2 Madden videos next week. Then it's going to be the random trade review on Hockey Apocalypse Volume 1. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of stuff entertainment-wise coming out. You know, yes, I know about the Lord of the Rings show. Yes, I am aware that Season 3 of The Mighty One started, but I haven't really been able to watch it. I've been busy, so... after that, so maybe I could get to those soon, hopefully, or at least a little bit of them. Again, we've got She-Hulk, Andor stars, the Star Wars Andor starts at the end of the month, or close to the end of the month. So, you know, that should help a lot, at least that wise. And next wrestling is going to be Impact Wrestling Victory Road. I keep wanting to say Bound for Glory, but that's next month, and it's on pay-per-view, so I probably won't be covering it. Yeah, so Victory Road, and then the next WWE show is Extreme Rules, which is on the 8th, I believe. The 8th of October. So see you all next time.
Hey guys, remember you can help me maintain and possibly even expand my professional wrestling coverage by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.